Okay, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the March webinar. Today we're committed to the entire session to the recent video conferencing announcements. We have a lot of material to get through, so I'd like to jump right in here. First of all, by way of introduction, my name is Rich Olari, your channel sales manager, and of course you know Kurt Sachin, your sales engineer. Also, I'd like to introduce you to two more individuals today who will be helping us out. Ilan Bluestein, President and Vice President of Sales with SERP Communications, and Sergey Sarik, Director, Sales Engineering. Since the introduction of Orion a couple of months ago, we've been working closely with the SERP team, and they've been a great asset to our team. So they're here to support us, so let me give you a little bit of an advertisement here. If you're interested in a demonstration of the Orion products that you'll see today, if you need to have technical discussions, please do reach out to me, and I will engage the correct parties. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. Before we get started, a quick couple of administrative tasks. First of all, there were two announcements in February that I want to be sure everybody has seen. First of all, the Blue Steel server announcement was emailed on February 24th. That talks about the Blue Steel and this very resilient new server entrant to our product line. And then the latest price guide, version 7.0, was emailed on February 28th. If you did not receive either of those two, please get in touch with me, and I'll get those out to you immediately. Also, your feedback, comments, topic ideas on these webinars or Xorcom in general are always welcome. I know our dealer community is not shy, so please don't hesitate to get that information out to me. And then finally, quick advertorial on the next dealer webinar, Tuesday, April 8th, same time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully you can join us. Lastly, as far as administrative notes, these webinar recordings, as always, are available on our extranet. You can see the credentials in the top left corner. When you go to this page, notice the blue button on the right-hand side of the page that says Xorcom USA Dealer Webinars. That will take you to a page that lists all the webinars, so you can view them. It will also list upcoming webinar presentations. So that was quick, and I want to get right into the primary topic of today's presentation, which is the new video conferencing solutions. At this point, I suspect everyone has had at least heard a little bit of information about these recent video conferencing announcements, that we have significantly strengthened our relationship with SERP Communications through a strategic alliance, and that through that alliance we now have a new line of video conferencing servers available. Today what we'll do is provide you with more depth regarding our new video conferencing capabilities. But before we do that, I thought it would be appropriate to give you a little bit more background on SERP Communications. First of all, they were founded in 1996, and the Xorcom SERP relationship dates back that far as well, with the founders of Xorcom. Initially, SERP focused on standards-based, feature-rich, high-density multimedia solutions. And these technologies were integrated into the products of many of the leading companies in the telecom and IT markets. 2003 marked the year the first SERP video conferencing technology was introduced. And over the years, they have 21 patents attributable to their efforts. Just this past December, Xorcom and SERP moved to strengthen the relationship. The new alliance means our teams, including development and research, are now working collaboratively in the same offices. So to begin the presentation, what is video conferencing? Well, it's the next evolutionary step for unified communications. It is communication between two or more users using simultaneous multi-way video and audio. It's comprised of two items, if you will. Endpoints are one, and the multi-point control unit is the other. The endpoints include video phones, laptops, even large room systems. And the MCU is what enables the creation and control of the video conferencing. It's, in fact, responsible for the media mixing, transrating, and transcoding. Legacy systems and endpoints usually use the H.323 protocol, while newer environments use SIP. And you've probably heard a lot in the marketplace about WebRTC. That is certainly the future of video conferencing. It's something that we will be looking at as time progresses. What are the benefits of video conferencing? Well, the top 4 reasons are improving efficiency and productivity, expediting decision making, certainly reducing travel costs is very important, and then the idea of being connected to the entity, especially for those remote workers. The ability to see each other's faces, to share desktop information is really important for the team environment. And by the way, people say that they will use more video conferencing if there were more video-capable cameras and video conferencing was more accessible. And I think you'll find through the presentation today that the Orion product is really meeting both of those requirements. The bring your own device movement is something that has been important as well to the proliferation of video conferencing. This means that everyone has video-capable cameras and people can join video conferencing from anywhere using an iPad, for example, or your favorite Android device. Let's take a look at the market. The trend in video conferencing has been expedited by this BYOD movement and what we're calling the consumerization of the enterprise. This is where personal devices like laptops and iPads have been introduced into the enterprise, and IT departments are now being pushed to provide access and integrate these devices into the enterprise. Individuals are used to using their iPad, their iPhone for personal uses, and they're quite productive. They want to take advantage and leverage those devices within the enterprise. This movement has played a significant role in extending video conferencing, which was a technology once affordable only by large enterprises, to a much broader market. So at this point, what I'd like to do is turn things over to Alon, and he'll provide us with a little bit more depth into the video conferencing market. Alon?
Sure. Thanks, Rich, and thanks everyone else for joining. Just kind of a couple of words from a business perspective, from a marketing point of view, about video conferencing specifically in the SMB, SME market. And as Rich said earlier, this is a market that, unlike in the past where video conferencing was the realm of very large enterprises with very expensive systems from Cisco, Polycom, and others, telepresence systems. Those markets have actually matured. Most large organizations have them, and there's not much growth in those markets. But in parallel to that, in the SMB and SME market, there is significant growth. These type of customers demand video conferencing today. So according to many analysts, this is where video conferencing, most of the growth in video conferencing is going to come from in the next few years. Next slide, please. So let's talk a little about the Orion video conferencing. Orion is the name of the solution from Surf. First of all, a very important point to emphasize, this is a solution that was designed from day one for SMBs and small service providers, which I will touch a bit later, but mostly for SMBs. So it is not a big, expensive telepresence system that was downsized. It was a product that was designed from scratch to meet the needs of small organizations. That product or that solution can be deployed as an on-premise appliance, like the same as you deploy a router or a switch or a PBX. It can be co-located as a managed service if you are a reseller that wants to put it in your own network and resell the hosting service. And something that will be announced in a few months is that will also enable that product will also enable small internet telephony service providers to build their own hosted video conferencing service, but that's kind of a little down the road. Because the product was designed from day one to meet the needs of SMBs, price and cost were obviously kind of key considerations. Small organizations do not have the budgets that large enterprises do. The price of the Orion is about 60 to 80% lower than comparable products. So if you take products from the likes of Lifesize, Polycom, Cisco, Video with a Y, the MSRP of the Orion is $9,000. while our competition starts in the mid-30s and very quickly goes to 40s and 50s, and Polycom is in the 70s. So our prices are very aggressive, and not less important for you guys is that there's still plenty of margins left in the middle for dealers. The product itself, and we'll touch that a couple of times later, was designed really as an appliance. It's very easy to deploy, very easy to manage, and very easy to use. Basically, if you're an IT guy, you know to configure a router, you know to install, let's say, a Linksys home router, you can install and manage the Orion MCU. There are three components pretty much for the solution itself. There's the MCU, which is the mixer that Rich mentioned. There are soft clients that Surf provides for Windows, for iOS, and for Android. The Windows and the Android components, soft clients are free. iOS is downloadable from the Apple App Store, and it's only $2.99. By the way, every solution that you buy, every Orion that you buy, comes with 20 Windows soft clients. And the solution also comes with a web application, web-based application that's basically HTML. It can run from any browser, which is being used for the configuration, for the monitoring, and for on-the-fly changes that the moderator can do to a conference. And that's something that Kurt will show you a bit later. Next slide, please. So, as I said, the three the components that the product comes with are the MCU. The soft clients are called Orion O. They are video soft clients. They run either on Windows or iOS or Android. And as I said, it also comes with a web-based application. The Orion O video clients, which are provided for free, is something which is optional. If you have your own video clients or your own endpoints, you don't have to use those soft clients from Surf. We basically support any third-party SIP or 833 video client or video endpoint. We're a completely open and standard-based system. So if you happen to have a Polycom endpoint or a life-size endpoint or a soft client from LinPhone, or a video phone from E-Link, for example, or someone else, as long as it's SIP or X323, we will be able to connect to that. The MCU supports up to 16 viewable participants in a single video conference. It can actually have up to 29 total participants, but 16 will be viewable. We have two layouts that we support, equal or dominant. Equal is what you see on the left side, that you have a nice matrix with all the people. Dominant is when you have one speaker that gets, one person gets a bigger real estate, the other gets smaller ones, and even that dominant can be either static or dynamic based on whoever is the loudest. Not less important is that the MCU supports voice-only participants, so you don't actually have to have a camera in order to join a conference. You can be voice only, and the MCU can actually be used also as an audio conferencing bridge. So once you have that, you can use that just for audio conferences inside the organization, and it supports up to 30 participants in an audio only conference. The affordable and simple to deploy is something that I'll probably mention in almost every slide, because this should be your main take out of that. Next slide, please. So here you have a few scenarios for deployment. I'm not going to touch all of them. The first one is probably the more common one that you're going to see in the environment of an IPPBX. Probably you'll see the top left one is the one that you're going to see in deployment where we're working together with Xorcom, is where the MCU is deployed inside the organization network. It is connected to the PBX, and it actually, from the PBX point of view, it's just another SIP client, not a SIP extension, sorry. So other endpoints, whether that be a room system or a video phone, or if you're working from your laptop or from your iPad, you'll just dial an extension in the PBX that you're connected to. Having said that, you can also connect people from the outside, either through the PBX or through a firewall. The unit supports NAT traversal and so on. I'm not going to dive into all the details here. They are explained in much better granularity in the user manual that you can get access to if you just if you so wish. But the bottom line is that the MCU can be deployed in pretty much any scenario, in a public domain, inside your local area network, co-located behind a firewall, outside a firewall, with a PBX, without a PBX, any mix of architecture that deployment architecture that you can think of. And those are just a few examples here.
Okay.
Next slide, please.
Next slide is mine. So thank you, Alon. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay. So now what we want to do is dig a little bit deeper into the Orion VX1000 MCU. Here's a picture of it. So now let's go and take a closer look at it. The features rather of the VX1000 include A is interoperable with third-party SIP or H.323 video endpoints and soft clients. And Alon has mentioned several of the video endpoints, Polycom being one, Cisco, Panasonic, Aver, etc. It supports up to 16 viewable participants in HD mode, up to 4 simultaneous video conferencing rooms, that's in VGA mode. It supports symmetric and asymmetric video streams. A very important feature is collaboration and the ability to support desktop sharing. Also, soft clients are available for iOS, Windows, as well as Android devices. And it also supports video conference recording. Video conference recording is supported not on the Orion unit itself, but on a network drive. You notice at the top of the slide here, we're talking about the VX1000 and the 2000. The 2000 is yet to be announced. It will be available in the coming months. But let's take a look at the specifically the VX1000. You see in high definition mode, it supports 1 or 2 conferences. That's in the first column there. Over to the right, it supports 29 participants. Now that's video and audio participants. And just to the right of that, under viewable participants, you can see in a single conference it supports up to 16 viewable participants, or in 2 conferences simultaneously running, it can support up to 6 viewable participants. Similarly, and I won't go through all these numbers, but similarly in VGA mode, it supports 1, 2, 3, or 4 conferences. And you can see on the right side of the screen, 16 viewable participants in a single conference, 16 in both of 2 simultaneous conferences, and so on down the slide. What I'd like to do now is a little bit of positioning relative to Orion in the video conferencing market. On this slide, you see at the high end, we have solutions for many of the companies we've already discussed. These systems are clearly targeted at large enterprises. They support advanced features, but at a very high cost, which is typically in the tens of thousands. At the low end, at the bottom of the slide, we see products targeted at the SMB market. Fusebox and Blue Jeans are those types of products, as well as the consumer market with products like Google Talk and Skype. But these products have shortcomings, which can include limitations on compatible endpoints, quality, and importantly, on security. The Orion solution is targeted at the SMB and SME markets, with important features like desktop sharing for collaboration and connectivity with almost any endpoint, and of course all at an affordable price, as Alon had mentioned. Positioning within the Xorcom product line is as follows. The XV3000 and XV500 were already in our product line. The XV3000 has a built-in PBX with embedded video and voice conferencing. It's available in a non-upgradable unit with 1, 2, or 4 E1 or T1 ports and supports echo cancellation within this chassis. As far as standalone modules are concerned, we have, as I said, the XV500, which is really our economical entrant into the marketplace. And then, of course, the Orion VX1000 that we're talking about today. The important point here is if you need desktop sharing, you really need to go with the XV1000 product. Okay. In a moment, I'm going to turn things over to Kurt, who I've asked to take a little bit deeper dive into some of the configuration screens. But he'll be talking about the web-based management tool. And just as a high-level overview, it features a real-time leader dashboard and performance monitoring, full statistical reporting via per conference and per user. It's a complete registrar configuration and control, or with H323 Gatekeeper, online layout and control for video and audio, and it's an easy conference creation and regulation, as well as an on-the-fly moderator setup. So with that quick snippet of information, Kurt will show you in a little bit deeper dive what those features are all about. Kurt?
All right, thanks, Rich. All right, so here we go. Top left corner of the screen captures, you see this entire slide is actually dedicated to what your system admin or your IT guys would see. Basically, the top left corner is going to be your network configuration screen, where you can statically assign the address, obviously. The top right corner is actually going to be where you can set up a conference, and the different kinds of settings you can see in there. You can give the conference a name, whether or not you want it to be multimedia or voice only. The video quality, which is important, you can set it to be HD here if you like, or lower it down to VGA if you want more participants viewable. You can actually set the number of participants and the max shown as well. You can give the room a PIN number. You can set whether or not you want to record. You can also require a leader to be connected, and you can also set up authentication. So those are some of the settings that can be set up when you create a new conference. Once you have that conference set up, then obviously whoever you want to give access to can have access to it. The bottom left corner is going to be some of the what you see conference rooms. Now these are the conference rooms that are actually created on this system, and you can see that there are several there to choose from. You can actually then edit or go into the moderator panel from that screen. And then on the bottom right is the actual users that are enabled on the system to connect to the Orion MCU. So next slide, please. All right, so the next slide is going to be more of a moderator view. This is with a live conference going on. You can see in the left side you've got all of the different users that are connected, and there are statuses there shown by little icons in the row. P for participant, I for the call statistics of that single user, which you can see in the window on the far right on the top is the call statistics for 212. In that call statistics window, you see their video resolution, the frame rate, whether or not they have packet or jitter, packet loss, excuse me, or jitter. This is pretty helpful in determining if there's problems on the network, who they're with, so on and so forth. And again, you can see the icon descriptions here in the little key. You can assign whether or not the participant can be visible or have video or not. You can remove them from the conference if you like. You can disable or enable their audio, and you can also set the dominant participant off from this window. All right. The bottom left, bottom left is actually the statistics for all of the users connected. Again, also helpful in determining who has problems on with their connection. Okay. Bottom right corner is going to be what Alon referred to earlier, where you can set your equal presence or dominant base. The dominant base will work on whoever's speaking the loudest. But again, in the other top left window, as I showed you, you can actually set the dominant participant to be static instead of dynamic. So, all right, next slide. Okay, this one here shows the Orion O client for Windows. The left corner, or excuse me, the left picture is going to be the actual dial pad itself. When you dial the conference room and hit the green button there, it will show your status as connected, and then you actually from that point would have an opportunity on the newer client to show your screen or share your screen if you so desire, and that's in the client. The middle picture we see here is actually the configuration of your SIP user. You just put in your identity, your password, and the system to connect to, and click login, and that's all. On the right side, you see the a breakdown of some more of the options you can set in the client. This is the multimedia screen that shows which playback and capture device you want to use. Also, you can change your preferred video resolution. Okay, and with that, I believe we're off to the next slide and back to Rich.
You are right. Thank you, Kurt.
All right. Yep.
All right. So a couple of wrap-up slides, and then we can take some questions. In summary, here is where we are with our video conferencing solution. It's positioned and priced for the SMB and ITSPs with an easy-to-deploy and manage environment. The capabilities allow connectivity from Windows soft clients, allowing meetings from any office or virtually anywhere. It also provides flexibility for the mobile workforce, through full support of any device, as well as the ability to extend or bridge, if you will, the capabilities of traditional video conferencing solutions to enable BYOD through either SIP or H323. And it is the most price competitive MCU available. So with that, when you need that 20-second elevator pitch, here it is. Orion is the most affordable and easy to deploy, use, and manage video conferencing solution for small businesses. It is an any-to-any video conferencing solution that supports multiple participants calling from their desktops, tablets, smartphones, room systems, or video phones. So with that, I thank you. I think this is a very exciting opportunity for our channel to have a new product into their suite of offerings, and it certainly is a high-quality, cost-effective solution. Once again, the little advertisement is we would be happy to help you. And I know Ilan and Sergey would as well, to be happy to demonstrate it for you, get on technical calls, etc. So with that, let's see if we have any questions here. And we do. Ilan, I'd like to bring you back on the line. A couple of questions here that you can help us out with. First one is, are the clients for iPhone and iPhone, laptops, PCs, and Androids, is there a cost to them?
Thanks, Rich. So, good question. So it differs. When you buy the MCU, when you buy an Orion solution, you get together with the MCU, you get also 20 licenses for Windows soft clients. That's included in the price of the MCU. If you need more, the formal MSRP is $10, to be honest, but if you need 4, 5, 10 more licenses, just contact Rich and we'll get you more licenses. It's not even worth issuing an invoice for $40, $50. Android is a free soft client. We provide you a link of where to download that client, and you just install that. And iOS is downloadable from the Apple App Store. This is actually mandatory because Apple does not allow installations on iOS of something which did not come from the Apple App Store. So it's just go to Apple's App Store, you look for Orion O, and you'll find it over there, and it's $2.99 per client.
Okay, thanks. Don't go away, Ilan. I have another one for you. What are the keys to performance?
That's a very good question. And many companies that embark on video conferencing sometimes do rookie mistakes. like, to be honest, even I did when I started with video conferencing. The first parameter to consider is really bandwidth. Bandwidth is a key issue when you do video conferencing. Obviously, video consumes more bandwidth than audio. That goes without saying. And video is very sensitive to packet loss and to fluctuations in bandwidth more than audio. So when you go and look at the data sheet of the Orion, you'll see the required or the recommended bandwidth. You'll see that if you go with high definition, which is 720p, we recommend that you have at least 1 megabit per second of bandwidth. If you go with standard definition of VGA, then it's about 512 kilobits per second, and it's lower than that if you go with what is referred to SIF. So it really depends on the bandwidth that you have. If you're inside your local area network, you'll usually have more. If you're calling from your cell phone, a smartphone, or from your tablet, and you're using, let's say, 4G or 3G, you'll probably go with a lower resolution. So bandwidth is definitely key. Not less important, to be honest, which is a big effect on packet loss, and we see many people do that, is that if you're inside your organization and you're working from your home office, we always recommend that you use a wireline connection versus a Wi-Fi connection. Wi-Fi inherently has packet loss, so if you get to the point that you're working in a home office and you're sitting 20, 30, 40 feet away from your Wi-Fi router, you may face 2, 3, 4% packet loss, and that's going to affect your video quality. One of the reasons about that you can actually see that very easily is in the moderator screen, as Kurt showed you earlier. You can actually see the packet loss, and then you will very quickly realize, oh, I have a problem here. If you also look at the slides that Kurt showed you, it also shows the entire bandwidth consumed by the video call, which for the IT manager is a good indication of, okay, this is roughly what I need to have a decent video conference.
Okay.
So bandwidth and preferably wireline, not wireless.
Okay, thank you again. And one more and final question. How does the Orion stack up against competitive products?
It's always a good question. As I said, kind of from a features point of view, the features that you will find in the Orion are comparable to features that you will find in other video conferencing solutions. At the end of the day, video conferencing is not a new technology. It's been around for 2 decades almost. The major difference are really the ease of use, the cost effectiveness of the price, and the ease to kind of, as an IT manager, to manage that video conferencing in the organization on a daily basis. From a price point of view, I'll repeat that the MSRP is only $9,000, while still keeping very, very good margins for our channels. The next comparable products are from companies like Lifesize, which starts in the mid-30s. It's about $35,000 for their MCU. It goes all the way up to Polycom, which is $75,000, and Cisco is even more. On a daily use for a small business, you will not find features that are big difference from that may be missing from one system to another. So the key difference is ease of use and cost effectiveness.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I'd like to thank everyone on this call for taking time out of their day to listen in or help us out with the presentation. We look forward to talking with you again next month. Have a good day.
Thank you.